afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Professor Tanya Smith, and I'm delighted to be joined today by a Neanderthal child whose tooth has written an autobiography. A big welcome to you, Miss Tooth.
Thank you everyone, thank you.
Miss Tooth was 8 years old when she died and is now over 250,000 years old. Today we're going to have a short reading from her autobiography, and then I'll turn it over for questions and answers. Now over to you, Miss Tooth.
Thank you, Professor Smith. I am the tooth of a Neanderthal, who are an extinct species that are closely related to humans. We lived on the Earth between 40,000 and 450,000 years ago. Scientists like Professor Smith have studied me and my cousins who lived all across Europe and have been listening to my stories of how we lived. The days were long and arduous, living in both freezing cold and warmer conditions. We were hunter-gatherers, so fed on fruits, berries and animals. And near the end of the day, my Neanderthal host closed her mouth for the very last time, and all was dark.
Wow, what an incredible story. Thank you for that, Miss Tooth. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, thanks for the reading, Miss Tooth. Just incredible. My question is, how are you able to remember all this and tell us this story?
Oh, yes. I think I'll let Professor Smith answer that question.
Sure. Well, teeth, just like Miss Tooth, have tiny timelines inside them. These are biological rhythms. They're a lot like tree rings, in fact, except they're formed every single day when you're a child. So there's a lot that we can learn from these tiny lines inside teeth, such as how old an individual was, how fast they grew up. We can learn about what they were eating when they were growing and developing. We can even learn about the environment they lived in, whether it was very cold in the winter and whether the summers were very warm or wet. So there's a lot that teeth can tell us about the past. Yes, another question over there.
How can you actually see the growth lines in the teeth?
Well, we can study these tiny timelines by actually taking little slices of the tooth. We do this in a laboratory using saws to make tiny thin sections, which I can put under a microscope. By magnifying the teeth, I can actually see these tiny microscopic daily lines. And I can actually count every single daily line to figure out how old the person was.
This is another question for Professor Smith. What are the benefits for studying these prehistoric teeth?
Well, the benefits of studying teeth are that they can give us important clues into our human evolutionary past. Sometimes they're the only thing we find in the fossil record, and they can tell us a lot about why humans are the way we are today and when we became this way. So teeth are one of the most important systems for better understanding our past. Any final questions?
My final question is for Miss Tooth. How can a fossilized tooth actually physically write a book? You don't have any hands.
Professor Smith?
Oh, I think that's enough questions for today. Thank you so much for coming. Miss Tooth will be available to sign copies of her book. Thank you again.